Okay, so let's talk about climate change. Climate change. These lessons, this is the first of 4, okay, based on climate change, because climate change is everywhere in the news. And the reason being is because it happens now. It is something that's happened in the past, and it's something that's going to happen in the future, but it is happening now. And that is why it is so important that we understand what it is. What can we do, first of all, so we make sure our understanding is clear? Well, in your lessons, whenever we start something new, I know that we make a brainstorm about what we already know. So, what do we already know? Everyone always talks about icebergs. Everybody talks about polar bears and penguins. And then they start talking about pollution. Then they can go into temperature, because if we have climate change, the temperature seems to change. Then we start talking about why we walk to school. Why we have car-free days. Or switch off fortnight. Maybe your school's done that. Yeah. And we tend to then start talking about rainforests. And then that leads us on to plants. Climate change covers all of this and more. The first thing that we need to do to understand climate change is to understand weather. That is our first learning objective, to understand weather. So I'm going to keep this page, but I'm going to turn it over, because that's all the things that we know about already, or we think about when we think about climate change. And we're going to move on to today's learning objective, our WALT. Today's WALT. See that yet? We are learning to identify different weather. Okay? When we're identifying our steps to success, so we can go up those stairs and say yay at the end, so we know that we've achieved, we need to be able to name weather. So name different types of weather. Name them. We need to be able to describe them. And then if we are pushing ourselves even more, we don't just want to name them. We don't just want to describe them. We want to justify them. Think, why? Why are they important? Why do we even have a name for them? Why is that higher thinking? Okay, that higher thinking that I know we all want to do, because we all want to know about climate change and why it's important. So remember on our What Do We Already Know brainstorm, we said that it's always in the news because it's happening right now. It happens in the past, it will happen in the future, and we talk about the melting ice caps and the penguins and polar bears. As we said, that isn't just what climate change is. We have to start from the beginning, which is why we're identifying different weather. What I want you to do for your very first activity, to show me that you've understood it, is that I want you to make a little book of weather. So you're going to get a plain piece of paper, and you're going to fold it in half, like that. You're going to fold it again, and you're going to fold it again. How many times? 3 times, yep. This is us making our little book. You're going to open it up and you'll be able to see 8 rectangles. You're going to fold it back in half, like a book, and you're going to get a pair of scissors, and you're going to cut that middle bit, so where the inner seam is, inner crease. So not the part that you can open. So not this side, because I can open that. You see that? It's not this side. I can't open this. This is the fold. And you're going to cut a line from there to the middle. So I'll just show you that with a pen. So you're going to cut a line from there to there. You don't need to draw that line. I'm just trying to show you visually where it is. So you're going to be really careful, and you're going to cut a line against this with the scissors so that it opens like that. And you see I only went halfway across that page, just to that corner. You can open it up again, and what you'll see is that you've got a hole, this hole here. What you're going to do is you're going to fold it over. You're going to lift it up so you can see that diamond shape forming, and you're just going to push that together and flatten it. So you've now got a piece of paper with 2 rectangles. If you turned it over, another 2 rectangles. I'll show you that again. So you've got your piece of paper, your 4 strips, because you folded it in half. So you fold it in half that way. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to hold it up so that hole is in the middle. You're going to hold these 2 corners, and you're going to push them together so they flatten. I'm going to flatten it out so you've got your 4. You see this crease here? You're going to have that as your book spine. So you're going to fold it over, and that means that your book opens like a reading book would. And you should have a front cover, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, and the back page. You're just going to make sure that's all flat. Your front cover is going to be called My Little Book of Weather. So My Little Book of Weather. And you notice how I always have capital letters in my titles. Okay, My Little Book of Weather. And then you're going to turn it over, because I know that we're not at school, but you need always to put your name on it. So we're going to say bye, and I'm going to put Mobo Does, but you're going to put your name. Okay, so you've got your front cover, My Little Book of Weather, and you've got the back there. So what I want you to do, your first task, so that I know that you've achieved your steps to success, is that I want you to name 6 different types of weather. And you could put your first one on your first page, your second on your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I'm going to start you off with, I think, probably the one that you're all going to think of first. And I think you're all going to think of rain first. So I'm going to choose my blue felt tip, and I'm going to put rain at the top, because that's my first step to success. I've named it. I'm then going to ask you to describe it, and you might decide, well, actually, I'm going to, first of all, I need to draw a diagram or a symbol like they do on the weather forecast to show what rain is. So I'm going to do that. You don't have to. You might just want to write a couple of sentences to describe it. I'm going to do both because I like pushing myself. So we've got rain. We've got the clouds with the rain falling out. And I'm going to write what rain is. Rain is, and then you're going to finish that sentence with your full stop. Okay. That's one page done. I want to see your books with 6 different type of weathers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we will have named it. We will have described it because we've got our symbol and a sentence. But if you're one of those learners that are going to push yourself, you're going to say, why is it important? So I'm going to start that sentence for you as well. I think that it's important because big elephants can't always use small exits because, and you're going to finish that off. You're going to have a lot more space. I've done it bigger so that you can see it on the camera. So once I've done that, I can say, right, I've named it, I've described it, and I've said why it's important. Excellent. I want you to do that for 6 different types of weather, and I really want to see your finished product, because once you've understood different types of weather and you've identified it and described it and justified it, then we can move on to our next step of understanding climate change. Okay, my little book of weather, and you can be as artistic as you would like.